Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Murder Church on a Sunday morning. I'm not sure if we'll get finished with this today or not. We're going to give it a shot. Let's go. We're working our way through the continuation of psychologist Dr. Elizabeth McMahon. We got about halfway through last week. Let's keep rocking. Let's go.
I get my hair out of my face while I'm doing this.
I know I was raped, but you weren't nothing but a bunch of stuff.
Therefore, these proceedings are now
Putting somebody who was raped.
Let's rock.
Hello. Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Wherever you are on planet Earth. We have made it to another day. Another snowy filled fucking day. I've been trapped again. This is the third weekend in a row I've been trapped and not been able to do anything on a Saturday. And it fucking blows. Holy shit. We got more snow coming today. Never plowed for Friday. Haven't been able to leave. Oh my god. I'm so fucking tired of this winter. This winter has been brutal, to say the least. Pokemon, oh, we gotta get the bells going. Let's get them going right now. Boom. Good morning. Good morning. It is a good morning here. When you got the bells blaring through the system. Simi, welcome in. Life Artist, welcome in. Teresa, welcome in. Carrie, -2. That's, I think I'm a little warmer than -2, but I bet I feel something like that. Last night it was like 9 and felt like -4. I'm going to look at it right now, actually. And I'm also in shorts because I haven't washed any fucking sweatpants. It's all falling apart here. Yeah, it's 14 and feels like 2. We got rise it up, baby. Snow continuing through 2 p.m. And I'm currently still stuck from the downfall of Friday. Friday was very scary, actually. Like, me and Cassie both were right at the cusp of not making it. It was scary. I'm just going to be real. It was very scary. I hate it. Ugh. Bassett Page, welcome in here. Haven't been able to do any fucking cool recipes. Basically, I barely made it to the dollar store to get some stuff for this weekend, and it was all just crap that I got. I'm trying to make that work. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm not even going to say what the weather is here. You'll throw me out. Oh my god, you're probably living in some good weather here. Hitting 60. Oh my god, I quit. I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, Murder Church is canceled. I'm pissed off now. Welcome everybody. Thank y'all so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Let me move this up just a little bit. It's a little bit off. Or a little bit out or something. There we go. Welcome in everybody. Thank you all so much for coming through. We got to be getting close here. This has got to be getting close. Let me roll down here. Where's this lady? Oh my god! So she's number 28 of 35. So I don't think we probably will get this done today. We're going to keep on rolling. We're in the sentencing phase, the final phase. She has been found guilty, and now they're trying to see if they want to put her to death. Of course, we know what happened in hindsight. But it's still interesting to watch it like this. Again, thanks everyone for coming in. Oh, we do have a wheel that's rocking and rolling also, guys. I'm going to throw that up there. Donation bar if anybody would like to help me out. I'd appreciate it. You can always send to the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and I'll be checking those out per the usual. Been having a lot of beautiful people come through that way. Get around the old YouTube fees, but anybody that comes through YouTube, I appreciate the shit out of that as well. You know this. I got some stuff that I haven't got to send out. I was actually going to be sending it out on Friday. Fucked me up, but I did get some shirts ordered. Who did I get? Just a Crazy Jen. I got you a shirt on the way. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on. We have a brand new wheel that is working. The beautiful people that finished the last one, I think last Sunday, started up a new one, and we're already 5 deep on it. So we're already almost halfway through another wheel, and we're doing it. And we're doing the damn thing. And everybody that came through in the last wrestling video, I need to collect all those names, so I haven't done that yet. And then I will do a wheel for a free shirt. And we'll probably do that Tuesday, actually. We'll probably do that on Tuesday. just to make that work out for you. Weather pattern break this week, though. Hopefully that changes for all. Yeah, I am supposed to get a little warmer this week. Hope that does something. There's the merch site. Thank you very much, Pokemon. Yeah, it's supposed to get a little warmer here. I hope that does a little bit of goodness for us, because I mean, this has been a relentless fucking January, and now in the beginning week of February. Absolutely freaking ridiculous and brutal. So, all right, everybody, thank y'all so much for coming through. Let's rock and roll for a few hours here. And I got to get this. Boom. I think everything else is good. Did I have this witness name up? Yeah, I didn't change it, so I need to get her name. Hold on. I'm just going to put Dr. Elizabeth McMahon. Get the sound in here. Not the filters.
Lacking. Angry. Some, what we would call bizarre thinking. That's more in terms of distortions of perceptions. Not to the point of being psychotic, but that their perceptions do get distorted. And a person who's angry, distrustful, suspicious of the world.
Was the result of the projective testing consistent with the borderline personality disorder and the cortical dysfunction from which Ms. Wuornos suffered
I don't
and
trust
has suffered
shit.
from the time she was a child?
The projective testing or procedures assessment does not, in general, give us a sense of the cortical dysfunction. It's not its purpose, and so that's not what we get. In terms of the borderline functioning, yes. And her clinical presentation is that. And by that, I'm saying that before I even scored any of the material, I simply had the first interaction I had with Ms. Wuornos and walked out of the detention facility. My sense was that Ms. Wuornos was a borderline personality.
She's crazy.
I guess the testing buttressed the clinical presentation.
Thank you, Doctor. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Please report to fire.
I do hate it. I love living here, though. I wouldn't move. I really do love the mountains of West Virginia and right on the border of Virginia, but this year's been
Dr.
brutal.
McMahon, would you tell us in your expert opinion whether or not the defendant is
Absolutely
legally
brutal.
insane?
My clinical
Like the ice we got alone is like it hasn't warmed up for it to go away. We have, oh my God, inches and inches, maybe a foot of, I don't even know, dude. I've still been dealing with ice. I finally got that off Thursday with the help of a neighbor. It's been horrible. I had to hire a wrecker to get Cassie's car off of the ice. Like, it's really crazy.
opinion, she is not.
Tell us in your clinical opinion whether or not the defendant knows the difference
Like
between right
$130
and
bucks
wrong.
to get a wrecker to pull Cassie off the ice so then I can drive the car.
In my clinical opinion, in most instances, yes. In times of extreme affective disorganization. I
Oh, that's
don't
what's really
think
fucked
it's
us up.
Something that
And it
she
won't go
would
away
be
and it won't warm up and just, oh.
maybe able to work through cognitively, but in general. Does she know the difference between right and wrong? She knows the difference between right and wrong as a general thing.
She understands the difference between right and wrong, the
Does
nature and
she
consequences of her actions. Isn't that
The
true?
difference between right
In
and
my
wrong.
clinical opinion, she does. Yes.
Does not meet the legal definition of insanity.
In my clinical opinion, she does not.
She did not meet the legal definition of insanity on the morning of December the 1st, 1989. Is that not true? She
I'm
was-
sorry, the date is, are you saying
On the
when
date
Mr.
that Mr. Mallory
Mallory,
was shot.
in my clinical opinion, she did not meet the, would not
Dr. Elizabeth
have met
Mann
the
says,
conditions of
"Bitch ain't
the
crazy."
requirements of the McNaughton rule.
That's a quote. That's a
Under
direct
the
quote.
law
You put
of
that
the
in your
state of
papers.
Florida, as you understand it, she was legally sane at that time.
In my clinical opinion, she was, yes, sir.
And she knew when she shot Richard Mallory over and over and over again that what she was doing was wrong. legally.
At that moment, I do not think that that was a relevant or even a consideration for her.
So then you say that Lee Wuornos is not responsible for her actions on that morning.
No, I'm not saying she's not responsible.
Well, Doctor,
Mr. Moore,
for
I
you-
think she's responsible.
For you to arrive at that conclusion, you have to believe what Lee Wuornos tells you happened.
That's correct.
And you're aware that this jury has already rejected Lee Wuornos' account of that.
That's correct.
Now, you have
That's not Lee Warner's perception, okay?
Well,
I understand
truth has nothing to
they
do with it,
found
is
her.
that right?
Your Honor, if the witness can answer.
Sorry, I won't interrupt. The truth of what really happened out there doesn't matter if your diagnosis doesn't.
As I've explained before,
No, ma'am. Does it? Yes or
If the
no?
witness can answer, Your Honor.
Calls for a yes or no, Your Honor. I'd ask that she be.
it matters insofar as if it is at great variance with Ms. Wuornos's perceptions, then we're dealing with a psychotic individual. If it is not at great variance, then no, it doesn't matter in the sense that what is determinative of each of our behaviors is our perceptions. And
So
if
you
a
believe that-
perception is in accord with reality, then I have to say she's sane.
So she was sane, she knew the difference between right and wrong on that morning. You're not saying she was insane,
I'm not
Ask
saying,
and answer, Your Honor.
and she understood the nature of the consequences of her actions then and now. Is that not true?
in my clinical opinion, she did and does,
And she did before that date.
as far as I know.
Now, the fact that someone has a borderline
I need some
personality dysfunction doesn't make them a killer, does it?
Does that make them a killer? Not in and of itself.
According to Lee Wuornos' account, the defendant's account to you of her life, she claimed never to have killed anyone before. Is that not true?
That's true.
And you say that she had this borderline personality dysfunction at the age of 15.
Yes,
So this cortical dysfunction, which you described she had at 15,
yes,
and this borderline personality dysfunction, which she had at the age of 15,
yes.
is not something that drove her to kill people at the age of 15, according to her account.
Did that drive her to kill someone at the age of
Would-
15?
would someone
Not
su-
as far as I know.
So someone then suffering with this mental dysfunction, as you described, would not be driven to kill because they suffered from that specific dysfunction, as you
Wait a
described.
minute, wait a minute. That's different than what you just said.
Well, Doctor,
I'm gonna
my
make a
question-
coffee. I'll be right back. I'm listening.
She's not answering my
I'm
question.
still being chat too, actually.
Doctor, Lee Wuornos told you she'd never killed anyone before. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's your testimony to this jury that Lee Wuornos suffered from the same condition when she was 15 years of age as she suffers today. Isn't that correct?
She's suffering from that right now. She's not killing anyone right this minute.
Because
She
she's
will suffer
incarcerated,
for it.
Doctor.
She will suffer from that condition as long as she lives.
So
in
the-
that Pennsylvania.
So there's really no hope of ever helping Lee Wuornos as far as rehabilitation. She'll have this the rest of her life.
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope. Objection, beyond the,
Isn't that true, Doctor?
beyond the scope of the sentencing proceeding, Your Honor.
Isn't that true, Doctor, that she's had it, she has it now, and she'll always have it?
That's not the question you just asked me. The question you just asked me is that she could not, never be helped. Two different things. She will always be a borderline personality. Is there a potential that she could ever be helped to live
I'll be right
more
back.
adaptively? There's a potential. It's low. It's not, they're not good prognostically. They're not real good for therapeutic. Not good, what's the word? The prognosis is not real good therapeutically for borderline personalities. They're very, very difficult to deal with. And with somebody as primitive as Lee, it'd be very difficult. Is it possible? It's possible.
Okay, in the possible, it's possible for me to be the next man on the moon, but it's not probable, is it?
Objection, Your Honor. Doctor, answer it then.
Judge, I'd ask that the court direct the witness whether to answer, not counsel. Isn't that what we're talking about here, Doctor? In the real world, we have no real possibility of her ever changing because of what you say is her borderline personality dysfunction and cortical dysfunction.
No, I am not saying that there's no real possibility of her changing in the real world. There is. Okay? The probability is low. Is there a possibility? Yes. Is there a probability? Yes. It would take somebody who can deal with her intensively?
24 hours a day,
No.
7 days a week.
No. 3 times a week? Yes. She would need 3 times a week with somebody who is very good at dealing with borderlines.
So in other words, someone that would sit down and counsel with her would be able to explain to her the improprieties of her ways, and she'd be able to then simply turn a new leaf. Is that what you're telling us?
Well, I wish therapy were that simple.
So we're talking about in the real world then. She would not be able to turn that leaf.
No, you keep asking me the same question over again. That's
You
not
keep
what
answering
I'm
it different
saying.
ways, doctor.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is possible, there's a low probability.
Just ask questions, don't argue with it.
Yes, sir. Every account that you have of Lee Wuornos' family background is primarily from her, is it not? When you talk about the rape, you say that you read an account by her sister.
Yes.
But that sister's account is based upon what Lee Wuornos told her about the rape, isn't it?
I have no idea where her sister got it.
Okay, so you don't know whether or not that's a self-reporting of Lee Wuornos telling her that I was raped.
No, I don't know that. All I know is that her sister said she was raped at an early age.
You don't know whether that's accurate or not, do you?
No, I wasn't there.
But you accept that as true, do you not? Because Lee Wuornos told you it was true.
Well, I don't have any reason not to accept it, let's put it that way.
Well, doctor, you don't know whether it's true or not, do you?
In the sense of was I there? No, I don't know that.
And you don't know whether or not Lee Wuornos had lied to his sister when she claimed that she had been raped.
If that's how the only way her sister knew it, then no, I don't know that.
And you don't know whether 6 months after she found herself to be pregnant, when she was at her home and she had to explain the pregnancy, it was easier for her to lie about being raped than it was Barry Grody, her sister, and she had Barry Wuornos, her sister. When I say sisters, her aunts and uncles, actually.
Right.
So there was a family unit there, wasn't there?
Yes,
And there was interaction
Yes.
between that family unit.
of some type, yes.
And
And
isn't-
then she was fortunate to have the family unit.
And isn't it a fact that the defendant told you that her grandfather, the most hideous thing he ever did to her, was try to keep her from being truant and from running away, and he would ground her, and on occasion strike her with a belt to stop her from running away and being truant?
No,
Well, doctor, isn't it, do we need to go through your notes?
that's fine. The worst thing that he ever did, according to her, was to strike her in the face with a belt buckle.
And didn't she tell you that was an accident because she had run away from home and she was truant from school, and as he was trying to discipline her, the belt buckle accidentally hit her? Please refer to your notes, doctor, of your interviews.
Do you know which date, right offhand? Okay.
Try March the 8th, doctor.
March 8th?
First page. Under discipline. Accidentally struck once in the face with a buckle. We have a 1X by.
Right,
One occasion in 15 years of her living at home with her grandfather.
right. Well,
Isn't
yeah.
that what you say, doctor?
Yes,
Isn't that what the defendant related to you?
at that time, yes.
Well, did she relate other things to you that were different from that at a later time?
I think I asked her to go in, at some point, I asked her to go into that a little bit more in
And she changed
detail.
her story, did she not?
I don't know that she changed her story.
Well, with time, didn't
No.
she give you a different story, a different account
On January 8th,
of this year?
yes,
Her story became more magnified, didn't it, as to the assistant by her
Your
grandfather?
Honor, if the witness could be allowed to answer something.
Your Honor, I didn't,
Doctor, feel free to refresh her recollection.
I asked her with regard to the physical discipline. She said her father would give her a licking, and that he used a belt, but only on the butt or the legs, and to the point of bruising. That's all. Said that she had fought with him, and that's when he struck her on the back and in the face with a belt buckle. He told that her father told everybody he, quote, hated my guts, unquote. I asked her why, and she said she didn't know, but perhaps because she was Diane's daughter. Now, that's compatible with the earlier things that she said in the interview that you were quoting.
This is all her self-reporting to you, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that primarily everything that Lee Wuornos you accepted as fact for your family history?
If it coincided with other things that,
No, doctor, my
That
question
other
is, did
things
you
that-
not accept what she told you?
Your Honor, objection, please, if the witness can answer.
Let her answer the question, sir.
I'd ask that she be responsive, Your Honor.
Well, let her answer the question, and then we'll the argument on its behalf, but
those things that coincided with other accounts.
So in other words, you read the statements of Lori Grody and Barry Wuornos.
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that in both Lori Grody's statements and Barry Wuornos' statements, they indicate that her father rarely disciplined Aileen Wuornos?
Okay. Barry states that, and
Doctor,
at the same time
Judge, I'd
states
ask
he
the
wasn't
witness
home.
Respond.
She's responding, you know, Sal, and you just asked that you Sal.
Okay. That he had left when she was 9, 10, so that he wasn't even there.
Doctor, isn't it a fact that Barry Wuornos said that his father disciplined her minimally as compared to the other children?
The same as the other children, I think is what he said. That she and Keith were brought into the home, and the question was, were they treated any differently? And I think Barry said, no, they weren't.
And Barry Wuornos said that his father did not mistreat him.
Did not mistreat him?
That's correct.
I think that's correct, that he
Did not mistreat the other children.
That was his perception.
And didn't Mr. Barry Wuornos, the uncle, raised as the brother of this defendant, also indicate that when his father drank, he sat in an easy chair and he would fall asleep and not bother the children?
Yeah, that was his testimony, and that was his statement, not testimony, statement.
And as a fact, when you read Lori Grody's statement of their family history, she verified the same account that Barry Wuornos gave, did she not? And wasn't that significantly different than what Aileen Wuornos claimed to be her family background?
As well as others, yes.
So there were many accounts that Aileen Wuornos gave you about what was happening in her family life as she grew up that was different than what Lori Grody and Barry Wuornos said was happening in that family.
Right. Different than theirs and compatible with some others.
The reports by Ms. Wuornos to you, these are all self-reports, are they not? In other words, you're talking to her and she talks to you.
Right.
When you were first introduced to her, you were told by her defense attorney, and she was told in your presence that you were there as a confidential expert, were you not?
Objection, Your Honor, to any discussion involving counsel.
Goes to the perception of the defendant as to why she was giving this material, the bias of this witness also.
Withdraw the last one.
Counsel's objection.
Withdraw the last one, Judge. Let that question be answered. Withdraw. Just the area we object.
Would you repeat the question?
But what was your understanding of your reasons for being there to interview Ms. Wuornos?
To evaluate her with regard to her mental status at the time of this offense, her competency to stand trial, and whatever her mental condition was at the time.
And in your presence, wasn't she told that you were there to help her?
To help her?
Yes.
Not that I recall.
Didn't you tell her that you were there as a confidential expert and that nothing that she said to you could be used unless she chose and her defense attorneys chose to allow it to be heard?
No, that is not what I told her.
What did you tell her?
I told her that my clinical opinion was not a matter of confidentiality, that the facts of the case would be a matter of confidentiality unless they were given by some other means, and that my report would go to her attorney, and if her attorney felt that in some way it would be beneficial to her legal situation, I was then subpoenable by the state attorney's office.
Then and only then, if your report was favorable to the defendant, would it be made known?
Could help the defendant in some fashion, yes.
And your intention is to help the defendant, is it not?
No. My intention is to render as thorough an evaluation as I possibly can, to find out as much as I possibly can about this individual, and to arrive at the conclusions and answer the questions I am asked to answer as thoroughly and completely as I possibly can.
Well,
That's my intention.
In the first interview that you had with this defendant, she didn't tell you anything about being raped by anyone, did she?
No, I didn't ask her anything.
She didn't tell you, though, did she?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I didn't take any notes. All I did was test her.
You don't recall whether or not Ms. Wuornos, the first time you met her, was claiming that she'd been raped by Richard Mallory or another man?
I don't recall.
And then on March the 8th, when you met her the second time, she never made any claims that Richard Mallory raped her, did she?
No, she did not.
It wasn't until almost 9, 10 months later, at your next interview, where that story now was that Richard Mallory had raped her?
No. In June, she had written out some material for her
I
attorney.
asked your next interview, when you met her next.
Oh, my interview,
Yes,
yes, December.
So we have a space of what, from March the 8th, starting in February to March the 8th, and then to December. So it took the defendant from your first interview in February until December of that year to recount to you that she had been raped by Richard Mallory.
I didn't see her between those, so yes.
Well, you had the opportunity to see her if you chose to do so, didn't you?
That's
not?
my point. I didn't see her, so she didn't have the opportunity to tell me any differently. She did tell her attorney differently in June.
Doctor,
Maybe before that,
if you
I
had
don't know.
chosen to interview her, you could have, could you not, over the
Of
space
course.
of a year?
Of course. But
And
you're
so-
saying it took her that long to tell me, only because I wasn't present. She
Doctor.
couldn't tell me if I hadn't been present.
Isn't it true that in the first 2 interviews, she never told you anything about being raped?
That's true.
In fact, her story expanded with time, did it not, as to what had happened to her?
You mean between when I first saw her and all the rest of the times?
Yes, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, Doctor, in your preparation for your testimony, what other witnesses did you speak with, other than the defendant?
Talked very briefly by phone with a cousin, some distant cousin, who was on his way
Herman
from
must have taken the day off. Where's Herman?
someplace, Miami
Herman, where
to...
you? There he is. Oh shit, Herman. All right, I'm back.
Talked
All right.
with a
All right.
gentleman who said that he had picked Ms. Wuornos up in May of 1990 and spent 6 days with her, 5 days with her.
Now, so you spoke with no other family members of Ms. Wuornos about her childhood and her family upbringing?
Other than the cousin.
Well, the cousin lived in the house with her?
Visited frequently, did not reside, but visited frequently. Apparently her grandfather was a favorite uncle.
Did you speak with Lori Grody?
No,
Did you try?
no,
Did you speak with Barry Wuornos?
no,
Did you try?
no,
Did you speak with Ty Moore, who had lived with the defendant for the past 4.5 years prior to her arrest?
no.
Did you try?
Didn't feel it was necessary.
It wouldn't be necessary to speak with someone that had lived with her day in and day out for 4.5 years before this offense?
I had 2 sworn statements and a lengthy deposition.
So you chose not to speak with her to confirm what was taken in the statements?
I didn't speak with her.
You chose not to? Is that a yes or no?
At some point, I remember talking with the defense attorney about would she be
That's not my-
available. And so
Doctor,
when I
did
say
you-
chose not to,
the witness can answer.
Judge, she's simply not being responsive.
All right, just let her answer.
I'm trying to think whether
I did find some daisies that could have fallen. They're just gonna look really gay.
what the response was. Whether, at that time, I know she was not available, or I was told she was not available.
Doctor, have you ever
I need
requested
some good
anyone in
luck.
the state attorney's office to speak
Some
with Tom?
rose petals.
No.
That
You could have done
Valentine's
that
Day,
if you
right?
chose to do so.
Your Honor, I object. That's improper.
Sexy. That's what the fuck. There's some leaves.
Any more comments? Any more, please? Just ask
It's
her.
probably the daisies.
Now, Doctor, the picture that you described for the jury of what the defendant was doing when she went hitchhiking and drinking and using drugs, that's all her self-representation of that.
Actually-
is it not?
Yes, it is.
I don't know if it's gonna
And
work or
during
not.
that period of time, she had this
I don't think it's gonna
personality
work.
dysfunction as you describe it,
Yes.
but it didn't cause her to kill anyone as she described.
I'm sorry?
It didn't cause her to kill anyone as she described.
Not at that time, no.
Did she describe to you her criminal history?
Yes.
Here we go.
She described to you in that criminal history other acts of violence or theft
Or what?
or of theft?
Yes. Theft.
Did you consider her criminal history? I'm sorry. Court reporter?
Can I have just a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Not to the borderline personality, no. Not to
Whether
my
she-
diagnosis.
Whether she committed offenses that dealt with crimes of honesty or dishonesty would have nothing to do with you.
No,
Whether or not she had stolen items from other individuals and used alias names that have no relevance to you.
no. Not arriving at a diagnosis, no.
So Isn't it a fact, doctor, that the defendant provided you with a history of manipulation and lies to people and everyone around her?
Winterfish.
Manipulation, yes. Lies,
Oh my God.
no.
Because you believe her.
It's internally consistent, and it's consistent with other things, externally consistent.
Is that a yes or a no, doctor?
We're in hell.
That's a yes for
Winter frozen tundra hell.
most of the time.
So you believed her when it suited you, and you disbelieved her when it didn't suit you?
No, I believed her when it was internally and externally consistent. I questioned her when it was not.
So you were looking inside her internally, and that...
I think
that's
so.
somehow-
Like, fish are weird like that, aren't they? Like, fucking bees and shit, dude. They like freeze, and then they're just like, they thaw out. They're like, ah, fuck, what was I doing? Like, they literally...
I gave you some input as to whether you're telling the truth or not.
All right.
You said it was internally and externally existent. I'm trying to understand what she means. Were you looking internally into her somehow? That gives you some basis?
There's internal consistency in the sense of to
these
what
two hate
someone
each
is
other.
saying. It's either internally consistent,
right, let's see
in
what
other words,
happens.
what they say from one time to the next time, from this hour to that hour, to the different ways I ask the questions. Or it isn't, and it's externally consistent in terms of, well, it's also internally consistent with the diagnosis and their dynamics. It's externally consistent or not with test results, with other, like the cortical dysfunction, with their school records, that sort of thing.
Well, doctor, isn't it a fact you told the jury that you watched her confession tape?
Yes,
Some 3.5 hours.
yes,
And during the course of listening to that tape, did you hear her make various statements to the law enforcement officers as to why she'd killed each of these men?
yes,
Did you hear her say that one guy had a weapon with him? He had a .45 caliber. It was dark. He didn't know where he put it. This is the weapon that I sold, and I don't know where he put it, but I didn't know he had a weapon. See, I had no idea he had a weapon. But when he started shitting me, that's when I grabbed my gun and started shooting. You remember that statement that she made?
Do I remember that she made that statement? No, I will take your word for it. I do not remember everything on 3.5 hours worth of tape. I will assume that you're reading it correctly.
Well, did you consider, would you like to see a transcript?
No.
Did you consider that that account varied or changed when you heard the account as to that individual?
Yes,
And isn't it a fact that when you heard the account from Ms. Wuornos, she had changed her story?
yes.
You can't really see. You can't really tell it's daisies, right? Like, it's like leaves more than daisies.
On each and every occasion, as you asked her as to her reasons for killing Mr. Mallory or killing any of the other
Also turned
men,
the blue
her
back
stories changed, did they not?
Her reasons were always self-defense. And details changed, yes.
The details changed, whether she stole money or how much money she took. In the case of Mr. Mallory, didn't she tell you different amounts that she took?
She may have.
It was difficult for her to keep her stories together, was it not? From one date to another?
It's difficult for Ms. Wuornos to remember certain things from one time to another, very definitely.
Do you remember her talking to you about a Christian guy?
Yes.
Do you remember watching her in a statement describe to the police officers the killing of that Christian guy?
Objection, Your Honor. Eighth Amendment grounds beyond the scope of the sentence.
That's sustained objection.
Doctor, would it be fair to say that as you viewed her videotaped confession, and as she described the events of that videotape to you, excuse me, of those events that she described in the videotape, over and over again, her accounts of those incidences, those murders, changed?
Oh, even like on the tape, you mean?
No, I'm talking about between the tape and when you heard it. The first time.
Yes, it even changed on the tape.
In the case of Mr. Mallory, there was no indication of Mr. Mallory raping her, was there, on tape?
No.
And in your first interview, there was no indication of Mr. Mallory raping her, was there? In February?
Not specifically, no. March, you mean.
Well, you met her first in February, and she made no accounts to you that she'd been raped by Richard Malley.
I don't recall, okay, so I'm saying, I'm presuming not.
Well, you take extensive notes, don't you, Doc?
Yes, and as you know, there are no notes for that, for the February, because all I did was testing.
And in March, but she did not speak with you or say to you, I was raped.
I honestly don't know. I'm going to assume not, because she didn't say it in March.
And in March, she was not. She told you she had not been raped.
What's up, Mike? Welcome
No,
in.
she didn't tell me she had not been. She did not tell me she had been. That's different.
Well, you told us that she has the ability to remember episodes.
Yes.
You think that a woman that has been anally raped and sodomized and vaginally attacked and brutalized...
Shit, Teresa helping me out. $10 with a big fucking thumb. Thank you so much. Is that a hippo? I think it's a hippo. I'm going to say it's a hippo. Giving me a hippo thumb. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it. $10. Damn. Damn, girl. Let's go. Shit. You're number 6 on the wheel. Teresa, you know I appreciate that. Oh, my God. Appreciate the fuck out of that. Let's see where we at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's right. 6 on a new wheel. Got a wheel. Rocking and rolling. Not messing around.
This is gun country.
And it is gun country around these parts right here. Right here. You don't come walking in someone's yard. You don't come walking in somebody's yard that you don't know. Boom. Sleuthy, sweetheart. Welcome in. Get in here, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
To the extent that she claims to have been, but to you, would be able to forget that episode?
Sleuthy, I've got your stuff ready to go. I just haven't mailed it yet. I've got a few things ready to go. As soon as I get back to my desk, and then also can make it to a post office without being stuck in the snow. So tired of the snow.
Would she be able to forget it? In terms of both her condition at the time she was arrested and for some period of time after that, I can see where she may not have related it, yes.
But eventually she did come around to relating that to you, and that was in December of 1991.
Objection to the form of the question.
Another idea.
Isn't that true? That's the first account that you received from her.
From her, yes.
That was almost 9
Directly from her, yes.
9 or 10 months later.
Directly from her, yes.
Now, this defendant was capable of working, wasn't she? Throughout. She was
what?
capable of working, capable of holding down a job. Is that what you're telling us?
She had held, unskilled jobs before that.
But she made
Not
choices.
long.
She made choices not to hold down those jobs, to go on to greener pastures, make more money as a prostitute.
That's assuming some sort of cognitive sitting back making a choice. In the sense that nobody had a 45 at her head when she did it, yes, she made a choice in the sense of what were her possible options as she perceived them to be, that's different. And that may not be correct, but in terms of what she perceived, that's different.
Well, she had no mental dysfunction.
There it is. I
preventing her from
found
earning
it.
an honest living if she chose to do so. Isn't that true?
Looks good, right?
Well,
Yeah. There we go. I figured
she
it
could probably hold down a certain kind of a job for longer than a few months, yes.
out. Do it and the
If she
snow.
chose to do so.
Yes.
So she doesn't suffer any type of impairment that prevents her from earning.
Now the gods really don't know what the fuck's going on, huh? We got the spring gods and the winter gods fighting behind me.
Honest living.
Objection to the form of the question, Your Honor.
Lay up. Right? I feel like it is the warden. Snow's my keeper now.
No, she can work at unskilled jobs, yes. She could earn a living that way.
She can make more money as a prostitute. Isn't that what you told you?
That what she told me? She said it was good money. If I pinned her down, did she in fact make more money than she could probably at other jobs? No, not when she's always scrambling to get the rent.
So she was not making good money as a prostitute, was she?
Oh shit, Tiff, I see it coming through with a $5 holla. Oh yeah, boom. Boom, 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 boom. And it's for this one right here. This one right here. She wanted that one specifically. $5 through the Cash App. Thank you so much. Appreciate that tip. Fuck yeah. A $5 bill thrown up on the stage for me stripping up here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm popping them titties. Boom, boom. I need to get some, what are they called? Pasties. Get some pasties rocking and rolling. Thank you so much, Tiff. I appreciate it. I appreciate the hell out of that.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
You're telling us she told you?
I'm saying that if you pin her down in terms of what she says she was making the X number of times a day, that doesn't jive with somebody who needed to make the rent or needed to
Got you,
go
girl.
out
Willed
so
you.
that they
Put
could
you on
pay the
that
electric
thing.
bill or whatever. Those two facts don't mesh.
That didn't jive when she was telling how much money she was making and yet at the same time telling you she didn't have money for rent.
Right, I'm saying those two didn't jive.
So she was telling you in one case something that did not mesh with the other. You're telling you a different story.
Well, yeah, well, except that the stories aren't the same, but I mean, if you pursue the two stories out, you're gonna find that they don't coalesce.
Doctor, you said that Aileen Wuornos is not psychotic, is that correct?
Correct.
She's not delusional?
Okay. Not that I'm aware of, and she denies them.
Isn't the fact that she has no organic brain dysfunction?
That's not a fact.
You're saying this cortical dysfunction is now an organic brain dysfunction?
Same thing.
There's no medical proof of any dysfunction, though, is there?
No, that's what I said earlier. There's no structural damage. That's different than saying a cortical dysfunction.
Isn't the fact that you did not seek to have a neurologist test her because you knew what the results would be, that there would be no medical finding to support your opinion?
Excuse me? I'm sorry. Say that again.
Isn't it true, doctor, you did not seek the help of a neurologist to do a CAT scan or an MRI or anything of a brain?
They're not nearly as sensitive as a neuropsychological functioning. Why would I do that?
Doctor, you didn't do it, did you?
No. No. All the studies indicate they're not nearly as sensitive.
You're
so
not a doctor.
I'm not going to do that.
Are you a medical doctor?
Asked and answered, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
So you're making a medical decision without consulting a neurologist as to the extent of any brain dysfunction that she has.
I'm making a neuropsychological decision, which is what I'm trained to do.
This lady hates this guy with a passion.
Well, your training has led you to testify in court, you say, some 25 times in death penalty cases?
Somewhere around there.
And in each of those cases, those were situations where juries had already found someone to be guilty of first-degree murder, was it not?
You're saying, was I always testifying at the penalty phase?
When you testified at the penalty phase, had the individual already been found guilty of murder in the first degree?
Obviously, if I was testifying at the penalty phase, and I'm saying, I don't recall whether they were all at the penalty phase, is all I'm saying.
But when you
But-
testified in the
Penalty phase, they would have already been found guilty, yes.
in those instances, you had testified on behalf of the defendant as to why the death penalty was not appropriate.
Objection, Your Honor. Form of the
No.
question and asked and answered.
Doctor, isn't it a fact that you personally are against the death penalty?
I professionally, as I stated to you before,
Yes, you told me you were personally and professionally against the
Objection,
death
Your Honor.
no, I did not, sir.
penalty.
You asked me what my feelings were on the death penalty professionally, and I said, to me, it does not make much sense. That is different. You asked me my personal opinion, and I said, I guess that would be the same as my professional opinion. I don't see a difference.
So they would be the same.
Right? That it doesn't make any sense from a
Not what I asked
professional
you
point
whether
of
you thought it
view.
made any sense, doctor. I asked you if your personal and professional opinion was that you were not in favor of the death penalty.
Not a matter of whether I'm in favor or not in favor. I can't answer that. It's something I have to deal with. From
You
a
don't know
professional
whether or
point
not
of-
you're in favor or against the death penalty, personally or professionally.
No, it's just something, it's reality. It is. It's something I deal with.
It's not a trick question, doctor. Are you or aren't you? No answer.
No answer.
Austin Reigns in the house. Reynolds. What's up, Austin? What are you doing?
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
That's all he's really been doing is just fighting with her. She hates her life. I mean, she's going to be at the end of this, because this is spread over 2 Sundays, up here for 2.5 hours. That's crazy.
Just describing to you the shooting, the murder of Gino Antonio.
Dude.
You recall that?
My God, I'm trying to, well, I'll put the snow back in there, but I'm trying to appease the snow gods by putting some spring vibes in behind me there. But yeah, now I actually mixed them up, so I hope that they get real confused. They don't know what to do, which may not be a good thing.
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope of the sentencing.
Would it be fair to say that on each of the accounts that Ms. Wuornos told you, she claimed that she was acting in self-defense on each of the shootings that she was involved in?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the autopsy of Gino Antonio?
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope of the sentencing.
Did you consider in your diagnosis any of the relevant autopsies as to any individual, including Mr. Mallory, and determining whether or not Aileen Wuornos was telling you the truth about what had occurred out there that night?
In my diagnosis, no, it's irrelevant.
I think the question's been answered, Your Honor.
So whether or not the physical facts substantiate what the defendant told you happened the night that she killed Richard Mallory, that would have no effect upon your opinion?
There's no effect upon my diagnosis whatsoever. She's a borderline regardless of what occurred out there.
But you told us that the mere fact that someone is a borderline, as you phrase it, doesn't make sense.
No, I'm in winter hell, Leah. I am dying. The gods have me in a stranglehold. My head's hanging over a mountain. They're trying to push me over into a fucking snowbank. These sons of bitches. I've been trapped for the 3rd Saturday in a row.
No, there are borderlines who don't kill. There are borderlines who do.
And they were calling for more today.
Borderline, so there's not a one-to-one
escape from the
correlation
last
between
one.
borderline or any other personality dysfunction and homicide.
So the fact that you tell us that Ms. Wuornos had this borderline personality the night that she murdered Richard Mallory has no bearing on whether or not what really happened out there is what she told you.
That's not what I said at all.
Okay, it's her perception.
No, I'm saying that certainly the fact that she is a borderline has a lot to do with her perceptions, and it has a lot to do with the way she's going to react given that situation out there. That situation out there does not have anything to do with her diagnosis, with reaching a conclusion about her diagnosis.
Well, the diagnosis, though, does not, of that personality, necessarily equate to someone going out and killing, does it?
Correct, it does not.
What is an antisocial personality, though?
Oh my God,
It is an individual who has all the 12 characteristics, three or four of the 12 characteristics before the age of 15, and
losing it.
Plus the adult characteristics in the DSM-3R. They are primarily having to do with acting out.
Seeking Justice on X, thank you for that share. And also Sharon, thank you for that share from Mexico.
Against society, and also sort of one's view of that. Not only the acting out, but the view of that.
Did you consider whether or not Ms. Wuornos would fit into the characterization of an antisocial personality?
I want to go and eat something delicious so bad. I mean, dude, seriously, I think tonight's dinner I've got either bologna sandwiches with cheese, which is great. I mean, I've picked up a few things to make sure I can make it happen. We have a frozen pizza, which I'll probably do today. Got some Cheerios and milk, which is sweet. Honey Nut Cheerios. I got some Vienna sausages that I got from the first ice storm that I think I'm going to try to take some of the weird little things that I have like that. I've got jerky. I've got Vienna sausages. I've got some kind of weird meat spread that I picked up just to get some canned stuff in case we're literally buried in snow. And there's another deviled egg ham, weird little things I would probably never even normally eat. I'm going to try to concoct some kind of Super Bowl dish with all the cheap little weird foods that I have tonight. We're going to see how it goes. I'll take a picture if it turns out okay.
I certainly entertain that as a rule-out diagnosis.
I don't have a lot right now, so we better be getting the fuck out of here soon. Do they have to... Here's the thing, like, they don't scrape us on the weekends when this happens on a Friday, which is stupid, so we're just trapped, like, honest to God. I mean, I'd have to walk up a big hill and meet somebody at the top of a road, like, to get picked up. Like, it's goofy, and it's not that close. It's not that easy either, especially the way how snowy and icy it is. And so, you know, we just wait for the fucking plow to come through, and they probably won't come through till like noon tomorrow. So I'll miss another half day of work. I'll have to use some more vacation time.
That to be the case.
Not to be the case.
So you ruled out antisocial personality.
In my clinical opinion, she is not antisocial personality. She is borderline personality.
Well, doctor, let me ask you.
Oh my God!
That were presented to
I'm
you.
coming to Cali.
I'm
coming to Cali.
Those records that were presented to you were given to you by defense counsel.
Hey, maybe. That's a good question. Murder Church might be officially changing to 10. So I do a Saturday night stream on Wrestle Plunge on Twitch exclusively, and it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern. And I've been showing 3 episodes the last 2 weeks, and we've going almost to 1 in the morning. Then when I get off a stream, I have to wind down. So I don't go to sleep till like 2:30 in the morning and then lay down. Probably didn't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning. And so maybe 10 might be the new time for Murder Church. I'm glad you said that, actually, because I'd keep like fucking with it and haven't actually officially done it. But it might be best because I'm doing the late night Saturday streams now.
Yes.
You reviewed her school records.
Yes.
Did her school records reveal that prior to the age of 15 she'd been truant many times?
No, did not. No, there was no mention of truancy whatsoever.
Did you read the accounts of Lori and Barry Wuornos as to whether or not she had run away from home or was truant from school?
Yes.
And did in fact Lori and Barry Wuornos recount incidents where she had been truant from school?
Oh my God. Hell, she's the one that's really stuck. So listen to this. She's been stuck in the house from the original ice storm 3 weeks ago now until Friday. So Friday morning, Thursday, remember I told you about the wrecker? I got her car off of ice. So Friday morning, she was able to go to work for the first time in literally like 3 weeks. Like I felt like it was either 2 or 3 weeks, but I think it was 3 weeks. So first time, and dude, the snow started coming at like 11 or 12 in the morning. And I told her, I wrote her, I was like, it's coming. And she works 45 minutes from where we live. And she has to go over the interstate, and it's pretty far away, and you know, so, and I was trying to make it to the weed store. I turned around from that because I got freaked out. And the weed store is like 20 minutes from me, so I came back. I said, fuck it, I just need to go to the dollar store and get some water and soda and some other goodies. I grabbed that. I made it back, and she's luckily made it and didn't have, well, she had some issues. She slid all the way down our fucking heel. That's happened. She had to back up and got up by hers, and then luckily we traded places and I parked it for her. But yeah, she has been out of the house for about 4 hours in 3 weeks, guys. I've still gotten out a bunch because my car was still out, and then a couple of days on the very first bad week, I had some rides from folks that I work with to take me to work.
Took the school records as to whether or not
it's really
she had
been fucking shitty.
As to whether or not she had run away.
It's crazy.
Ms. Wuornos had talked.
Dude, it's like a deviled ham meat spread, and I don't know what kind of concoction that we're dealing with, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I don't know. I got cracker. I don't have that many. Oh my God, the crackers are fucking dwindling too. It's all going down.
About running away. The issue was whether she had run away before or after the age of 15, and I think it's twice, and I think it says not excluding.
Oh man, I hate to hear that, Nosy. Hope you're okay. I'm glad you popped in to say hey to us, though.
Physical or sexual abuse.
Well, doctor.
Or any kind of abuse, I think it says.
Didn't Ms. Wuornos tell you that no one in her family was sexually abusing her?
Yes.
You choose to believe that, or you disbelieve that?
No, I believe that.
Dude.
Although even her cousin raised some issue, and certainly her mother raised an issue about that. But she denied it. So that's certainly up for question. Well, I do not assume that she's been abused.
Yeah, they've been cool. Like, they haven't... Well, she gets to work from home. Like, she has a setup to where she can literally work from home. I don't have that luxury. I work at a desk, but a lot of my stuff is physical stuff. Like, I deal with freight trucks. I deal with stuff that's shipping in and out, and that I have to actually physically move and do stuff. But she's been lucky enough to be able to actually work from home. But if I miss a day, I'm either using a vacation day or fucking praying I can catch a ride.
Although the question has been seriously raised by 2 other people.
I'm about a truck, dude. I don't know. I keep pausing this. We're not even going to make it through this lady another week, are we? I need to buy a truck, and those things are very expensive, and my car's paid off, and I'm so lucky about that. And I don't want to have a car payment, but Dude, I see these dudes around me with these fucking trucks that just do whatever they want. I want to do whatever I want. I want the freedom of a truck.
Doctor, you feel it necessary when I ask you if Ms. Wuornos told you something to tell me what 3 other people supposedly told you?
Objection argumentative, Your Honor.
I'm simply asking the witness respond to my question.
Sounds terrible.
Yes, sir.
Some places have it worse than here for sure.
So is it true or not that you read Lori and Barry Wuornos' accounts of her running away from home and truancy prior to the age of 15?
I read their accounts of that.
They in fact said that she had on occasion.
They said that.
Did you accept that account, or was that, or you just simply...
I put that into some kind of, perspective. Yes, I read that, I evaluated that, I weighed it, yes.
You also accept...
Yeah, all the crap that comes in these cans is so salty. Like, the sodium levels is insane.
Defendant's own
I'm on a
accounts that
diet?
she had run away from home.
Yes.
Did you read the accounts of Ms. Wuornos also fighting with other individuals and initiating fights as told by her sister and her brother, Lori and Barry?
I don't recall that coming from them.
Was the source Ms. Wuornos that she was engaged in fights?
It was, she related being engaged in fights after the age of 15. And I don't recall either her brother or sister saying that she had initiated fights prior to the age of 15. And all of these, keep in mind, must be prior to the age of 15. Okay.
Well, did Ms. Wuornos describe to you her fights with the Dawn Neiman?
I read the account that Dawn gave. I asked Ms. Wuornos about that.
And in fact, Dawn Neiman indicated that they had actually fights with knives prior to the age of 15?
She indicated one fight, and that I recall, and I don't recall that she gave an age, but it was after Ms. Wuornos had, according to Dawn Neiman, begun prostituting.
And at the age of under 15, isn't it a fact that Ms. Wuornos also found herself to be scarred by a fire that had been set?
Yes.
And isn't it a fact that in both Lori Grody and Barry Wuornos' accounts that fire was set by Aileen Wuornos?
Okay.
If you recall.
No, I don't recall Barry's. I recall Lori account and Ms. Wuornos' account.
Isn't it a fact that in those accounts there were other allegations that Ms. Wuornos had been setting other fires?
That account, yes, there was from Lori, not from the school.
Now, isn't it a fact that the defendant, through the course of your interviews with her, lied often to you?
Did she lie often to me? In my clinical opinion, no, she didn't.
So you believe she told you the truth all the time?
No.
Sometimes she lied, sometimes she told the truth.
Sometimes she told the truth. Sometimes I believe she told the truth as she believed it to be. And sometimes I have question.
But she wasn't delusional, was she, when she recounted the events to you?
No,
She wasn't hallucinating.
no, something else entirely.
And you didn't bother to check to see whether or not her accounts of what was happening between she and these other people was accurate based on any physical evidence, did you?
Objection argumentative, asked and answered, Your Honor.
Rephrase your question.
Did you review any physical evidence, any autopsies, anything other than what Ms. Wuornos told you happened between she and these men to verify her story to you?
The investigative reports.
So I've been, everybody in here knows how I've been working on Wrestle Plunge and trying to get it to grow, and it's very small still. I mean, it's hard to do a lot of stuff, and I've just now been trying to work Twitch a little bit more, and on Saturday nights I exclusively stream on Twitch. And I just got an email that I got leveled up to an affiliate, which then gives you the opportunity to have ad revenue from the channel, which is not going to be a lot, but still, at least it's positioning you for the possibility of doing something. You can now have subscribers to your channel at 3 different tiers, and Twitch Prime free options, and receive 1 cent per bit used to cheer on their channel. So I'd imagine it's not going to be a lot of money, but hell, that's interesting. And then it could keep growing too, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, well, the investigative report certainly didn't indicate any assertion by Ms. Wuornos that she claimed to have been raped by Richard Mallory, did it?
You asked me if I had read anything to try and match her story to the physical evidence. Is that correct? Did I understand your, maybe I
correct.
misunderstood.
No, I think
Okay.
you understood.
Okay. And I said, I read the investigative reports. That's all. Autopsies? No. But the investigative reports in terms of, which gave some physical evidence.
So you don't know whether or not the autopsies and the physical evidence that would be revealed from those autopsies would be consistent with her accounts to you?
Objection, Your Honor. I asked and answered beyond the scope of the rule.
Not from that source, no, I don't.
Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It isn't the fact that during Mr. Barry Wuornos' accounts, he
See what we can
described
do with it. But
numerous times when Ms. Wuornos had stolen articles from his homes and from other people.
oh, Bassett Page with the share on X. I appreciate that. Thank you. I've been really kind of zoned out of this, and I'm not gonna lie to you. This guy's annoying as fuck, and this lady hates him, and I think I hate him also.
I don't recall that. I'm not saying it didn't
I mean,
happen. I don't recall
get it.
that.
I mean,
I recall him saying that he asked her to leave.
During the course of your reading Barry Wuornos' account, wasn't one of the reasons he asked her to leave was a discovery that she had stolen from his
I'll give you
family
the
wife?
Twitch link.
Does that help
there,
refresh your recollection?
No,
It is
that
my
was
Wrestle
not
Plunge
mine.
channel,
It said
but-
she made a general pest of herself and
Still pretty cool.
wouldn't clean up after herself and share in the household responsibilities or do her part, and so he asked her to leave. That's my recollection. Maybe
Oh, I can't. I don't have that option on Court TV.
I may
Sydney.
not be recalling it accurately,
wish.
but that's my recollection of it.
You were aware that the defendant was using numerous aliases.
I was aware of these
Objection,
two,
asked and
yes.
answered, Your Honor.
Were you aware that she was in possession of items of stolen identification?
Yes,
And she had recounted that to you?
yes,
And that she used this identification under
Yeah.
alias names?
yes.
She indicate to you how she'd obtained some of those by stealing them?
Let's see. One, she told me a gentleman had given her his wife's identification. That was the one, I think they were down in the Keys. She got that one.
And then she used that identification, didn't she? She used that name.
She used the name. I don't know whether she used the identification or not, but she'd used the name. I
Tell you
can't
what-
remember how she got the other one, Mr. DeMore.
Don't recall.
No, I don't.
Do you know of at least two she told you about?
Two.
Now, would it be fair to say that her pattern of work since the age of 15, that she has not held down a consistent job?
Correct. I'd say that's fair to say.
And that would be based upon her self-reporting, wouldn't you? You really have no other verifiable source other than the defendant on that.
The deposition from Ms. Moore.
All right, so we are in agreement then that she was not holding down a job on a regular basis.
Objection, Your Honor. I just asked and answered.
Well, you also had her family members that indicated that she was not capable of holding down a steady job, or had not held a steady job.
Insofar as they knew, yeah, but that was a lot of years ago.
And isn't it the fact that you were aware of her arrest history?
Yes,
And that arrest history indicated that she had repeated offenses.
yes.
Why don't you tell us what she described to you as...
So
her
that
offenses
picture
that she
they
had
posted last week in
involved with?
Discord.
Armed robbery in 1980, and that's the one that she was sentenced for. Petty theft in 1978, dropped. Concealed weapon when she was 18 or 19 years old. And that was dropped, but she did have a suspended license subsequent to that same charge. A grand theft auto in 86, which was dropped, and in 1984, uttering a forged instrument. Bonded, this is bonded, picked up, ROR'd, and then questionable. I have a
She
question mark.
had a history of criminal activity, though, did she not?
Yes,
And then you had the present crime that she's involved in.
yes.
Would you consider the crime that she's now been convicted of to be something that is escalation from a prior criminal history?
I would call that qualitatively different.
So in other words, an armed robbery would be not in your mind any different than a first-degree murder?
No, I'm saying I would consider first-degree murder qualitatively different from anything else that's happened.
Significantly different?
Yes,
Significantly worse?
yes.
So going in and robbing somebody with a gun in your mind would not then be a bad offense?
Objection, Your Honor.
But when you say significantly different, you're talking about an armed robbery with a firearm. Would you consider that to be a severe offense?
Yes,
But not as severe certainly as a first-degree murder,
correct?
coupled with an armed robbery.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the defendant's current jail records?
I've read them.
And don't they
Let me say, I've gone over them. I didn't read that stack word for word. I certainly read those that were attached to a deposition, and I leafed through the rest of them.
Were you familiar with any reports of the defendant threatening individuals to claim that they had raped her?
That she threatened that she would claim that they had raped her.
That's correct.
Yes, I am.
And when were those events? When did they occur?
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope of the record.
Would the fact that the defendant threatened individuals with the crime of rape affect your opinion in any way as to whether or not she was telling the truth or lying as to the murder of Richard Mallett?
Objection, Your Honor, beyond the scope.
Yo, Ember, morning. You snowed in? Like me?
Would you describe Ms. Wuornos as being irritable?
Yes,
Would you describe her as being aggressive?
when prompted.
In fact, when you first met her, she was some 35 or 40 pounds heavier, was she not?
Yes.
She was a rather imposing figure, was she not?
You're asking my opinion? No, I didn't see her as an imposing figure. No. I guess because that was not solid weight. It was not healthy weight.
Isn't it a fact, Doctor, that this defendant throughout her lifetime has led a life of manipulation and lying and the use of aliases?
Objection, Your Honor. Unless the doctor formulated an opinion to reasonable certainty on that issue.
Manipulation, yes.
Yo, Pope, thanks for that share.
Use of aliases, she has done that from time to time. Lying. I have no data that says that that's Ms. Wuornos' usual way of interacting with the world.
Would you consider that when someone identifies themselves as someone that they're not, that they're lying?
I said use of aliases.
So that would be a form of a lie, would it not?
It's deception, yeah.
So she has a history of deception
I'm
and
saying
lying.
she's done that from time to time, yeah. Yes.
Do you feel you're able to tell when she's telling the truth?
I'm not going to say I can always tell when anybody's telling the truth all of the time.
So you can't tell whether or not Aileen Wuornos was telling you the truth as she recounted the events of the night of the killing of Richard Mallett.
In my clinical opinion, I can tell in my clinical opinion, I can tell when she thinks that she is telling the truth to a reasonable degree of psychological probability.
But whether or not that is the truth does not matter in her perception. Am I correct?
Her perceptions of the situation is much more important, much more relevant to me at that point than the objective truth, whatever that may be.
Doctor, would it be fair to say that if Richard Mallett was seated behind the wheel of his car and he had his hands up on the wheel and was passed out asleep, that you couldn't tell us whether or not that is the truth or not the truth when he was shot?
That's true. I cannot tell you that.
You can't tell that based upon the self-serving statements of the defendant to you, can you?
Can I tell that upon the statements of the defendant, how he was? No, I can only tell you her perceptions as she related them to me.
And what she related to you were actions of irresponsibility, of taking no responsibility, that it was all somebody else's fault.
Well, Yeah, Ms. Wuornos does not see herself as, does not appreciate her responsibility of being in that place at that time.
Well, Ms. Wuornos doesn't accept her responsibility as being any place at any time, based upon your testimony. Isn't that true?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained objection.
In Ms. Wuornos' eyes, it's everyone else's fault.
Objection, Your Honor.
In the case of the killing of Richard Mowry, isn't it a fact that she accepts no responsibility for her actions?
Objection has to be answered, Your Honor.
Sustained objection.
And you found the defendant to be competent to stand trial, did you not?
Yes, sir, I did. Qualified, as you recall.
Not insane.
No,
Your Honor
not
has to
insane.
answer, I think, objection a couple of times already.
Sustained objection.
So if I understand your testimony, if the defendant feels threatened, she reacts.
Yes.
And whether or not her
dude, those are
perception of
good,
that is the
too.
reality or the
I like
truth
the
of what is
pouches.
actually happening, it's based upon her perception, and that excuses her actions in your mind.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained objection.
Well,
Like
Doctor,
it's
does it-
basically just like the canned tuna. Like I get the tuna in the water, not the oil. It's really not that much different. It's just smushed flatter, but once you get it in the bowl and you kind of get your spoon going, you know, you get it fluffed up a little bit and you get that mayonnaise going. That's perfect.
Does it matter what really happened?
Yeah,
Or does it
Dr.
matter
Wesley.
what she tells you happened?
Both?
Well, Doctor, if Lee Wuornos had been anally raped and sexually abused by Richard Mowry, and she was really defending herself, you wouldn't need to have any type of dysfunction of the mind to call that self-defense, would you?
Oh, Judge, objection.
Sustained objection.
You have no idea what happened out there between she and Richard Mallory based upon what she told you, now do you?
Objection has to be answered.
Sustained objection.
Would it be fair to say that this is a primitive, violent, vulgar individual?
Objection to the last one, Your Honor.
Primitive,
Yes, she's a very psychologically primitive individual.
acts out violently,
When threatened, when she perceives herself to be threatened.
whether or not she actually is.
It's true of all of us, whether or not she actually is.
It's true of all of us.
Yes, it's our perceptions in all cases, with all of us. It's our perceptions that dictate our behavior.
So whether or not the reality of the situation is occurring, it's simply based upon her perception of it.
Her behavior is going to be determined by her perception.
So
Yes.
therefore, she's not responsible for her behavior.
Objection has to be answered, Your Honor.
If you could answer the question.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that she is not responsible for her behavior. If I felt she wasn't responsible for her behavior, I would have said that in my clinical opinion she was insane. That's not what I'm saying.
You said that she couldn't. You said that she could understand the nature and the consequences of her acts at that time.
Yes,
And you said that she knew the difference between right and wrong.
yes,
There's no doubt about that in your mind.
no.
And she had the capability of conforming her conduct in a lawful manner that night had she chosen to do so, could she not?
That's not what I'm saying. My clinical opinion, no.
And that's based upon her perception.
Yes,
Whether or not that's the reality of the situation or not.
Asked and answered, Your Honor, a bunch of times. Objection.
Sustained.
Judge Beverly.
Yes, sir.
Did Ms. Wuornos tell you why she was a prostitute?
she gave me several reasons why she was a prostitute. She told me that she couldn't work because there were warrants out for her, so she couldn't get a job. She told me that she loved men, that she loved having sex with men, that it was good money, that she enjoyed her clients, that she enjoyed all the people that she met.
She received gratification from what she was doing,
Yes,
and she chose to do it because she liked it.
among other reasons. She enjoyed
like
that
aliens.
contact.
Get fucking Ali Mata on here.
Defendant tell you that she had practiced getting her gun quickly out of her purse?
Yes, she told me one
I
time
think
she
they
had
were
practiced.
She called it a quick draw. She whipped out the gun.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overall, answer.
I don't recall, that may be true, I don't recall.
She told you she practiced over and over again getting her gun out of her purse. Did she not?
Asked and answered, objection, Your Honor.
Overall, answer.
She told me she had practiced getting it out quickly.
Doctor, in your opinion, is Lee Wuornos' ability to understand the nature and the consequences of her actions impaired to the extent that her normal faculties were impaired by alcohol?
Alcohol makes all of that, all of her, the cortical dysfunction and the borderline personality worse. It simply exacerbates it. So, yes, there's an effect from alcohol.
Isn't it a fact, Doctor, that Lee Wuornos told you on different occasions that she'd had either 1 or 2 mixed drinks
No, well, okay, 1 or 2 mixed drinks, yeah.
and up to 4 or 5 beers that evening?
Yeah, I don't recall that changing, but yes.
Did alcohol cause the killing?
My clinical opinion, it did not cause the killing, no.
Thank you, Doctor. Nothing further.
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor. Are people with borderline personality disorders offensive to other people?
I think the way it's usually phrased is that they tend to cause strong reactions in other people. Generally, this would be negative reactions, or frequently is negative reactions.
What did Tom Evans tell you about Ms. Wuornos?
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm just trying to cover the question asked on cross, if I may.
No, go ahead.
Judge.
Let me clarify your question, Your Honor.
Yes, I believe there was objection. I sustained.
That's correct, Judge.
I'll sustain again.
Did you rely on Tom Evans's account in formulating an opinion in this case? In your opinion, did you account for what Tom Evans?
Yes.
Are accounts of individuals who have come into contact with the client something that experts normally rely on in formulating an opinion?
Yes.
You recall on cross-examination, you were asked a question or two about speaking to Mr. Evans.
Yes.
What did he tell you that you relied on?
Objection, Your Honor.
Same questions with regard to the cousin, Your Honor. To save time, would you be sustaining the objection?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. You indicated that Ms. Wuornos loved men and expressed that to you as far as hitchhiking across.
This is odd.
Yes.
Are what you understand, her interactions...
They weren't
with
afraid to take risks
while prostituting
in the 90s,
consistent
was
with
there.
the way prostitutes are?
No.
What's inconsistent
Gotta respect
about that?
The very fact that she enjoyed it, stated that she enjoyed it, stated that it was both physically and emotionally gratifying for her, that stated that she would spend more time with them than the contract that she had with them, did things like holding hands, kissing, affectionate type of behavior. This is not typical. Most clients that, I would say all clients, consistently, clients that I have had that have prostituted for any length of time, it has been an extremely negative experience for them, something that they didn't like, the interaction, and would not get gratification from it, but rather tend to falsify that impression.
These perceptions that Ms. Wuornos had about holding hands and affection, hugging, all of these kind of things, are they consistent with her being primitive?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
In what sense?
Two. One, that she would want that kind of physical contact, tactual
Right
contact.
back. Hold on.
And enjoy that even from a stranger. It's like If you're hungry, you don't care who gives you the food, if you're starving. So that, plus the fact that it was a way of obtaining it without the close interpersonal relationship that goes with a long-term sustained relationship. So in that sense, it's the borderline and it's the primitive. It's both sides of that. They oftentimes try and obtain have some kind of a relationship that they can distance the individual as well as have them close, distance them and have them close. They tend to yo-yo people. So this is a nice way of doing that in the sense of getting your needs met without having the demands, if you will, of an ongoing interpersonal relationship with them.
What was your understanding of Dawn Neiman's account regarding Ms. Wuornos' developmental years? Of Dawn's account?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the rest of
Dawn's
it.
account regarding Ms. Wuornos' developmental years.
She had become friends with Ms. Wuornos basically through Ms. Wuornos' brother and sister, and then they had sort of palled around together for a number of years, according to Ms. Neiman, that Ms. Wuornos had been very protective of her, that she had would say to her one or more times during the day, "You wait here, I'll be back after a while, I got to go do some things," and come back with money. And Ms. Neiman assumed that she was prostituting. That sort of fascinated her because she had never known anybody who was a prostitute. Related that Ms. Wuornos always carried a weapon when she was out on the streets. They spent time hitchhiking around places all around town together, and that I believe she said Ms. Wuornos would buy things for her from time to time. They had gotten into a fight, according to her, in which Ms. Neiman had come out the winner.
How old were they at that fight? Or how old was Lee at the time of the fight, from what you can piece together?
Well, from what I can piece together, she would have had to have been over 15 because she was already out prostituting and not in school. Now, keep in mind, Ms. Wuornos has a different account of that, but that's Ms. Neiman's account. They drew apart when Ms. Neiman met the man to whom she's currently married. Ms. Wuornos, as she describes the Ms. Wuornos' response to that, I guess from a clinical point of view, I'm seeing her as sort of getting kind of jealous of the fact that Ms. Neiman, who had never had a boyfriend, now has a boyfriend, and also feeling somewhat rejected. So she pulls apart away from her somewhat angrily.
You indicated, Mr. DeMore asked you a number of questions about Lori and Barry Wuornos' account.
Yes.
You indicated there were other accounts other than Ms. Wuornos' which were not consistent with Lori and Barry's. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Regarding the family? What were those accounts about?
Both from the cousin and from Ms. Wuornos' biological mother.
And in a nutshell, what did they relate regarding the grandfather?
The Jekyll and Hyde side of him when he was drinking, the fact that he was verbally abusive to the children. Don't have anybody that says he was physically abusive, but that he was verbally very abusive to the children. The compliance that he not only drank heavily, but forced her mother to drink. And that the family, and this comes from somebody else also, but the family basically after her mother's death, her mother's family then ostracized her father because of feeling that he was responsible for her death due to the alcohol.
Just a crazy gin?
You had a number of written statements from Lori.
Morning.
Yes.
And a number of
What do you mean by written?
written statements that investigators had taken.
Oh, yes.
They were
I'm sorry.
typed up.
Yes.
You had one by a fellow by the name of Goretzky, a law enforcement officer up in Michigan.
Yes.
One from an investigator named Paget, a guy out of Citrus County, an investigator.
That talked to her mother?
That talked to Lori and Barry.
If that's in that package.
You had more than one from each.
Yes, yes, yes.
And you had a couple of statements and the deposition from Ms. Moore.
Yes, and the statement from her mother.
Did you review all of those documents in formulating your opinion?
Yes.
From a perspective, John, in looking at Ms. Wuornos' developmental history, just looking at that, does it really matter if at the age of 14 she became pregnant as a result of a rape or just became pregnant, given what happened to her during the course of the pregnancy?
In terms of reflecting the dysfunction or a dysfunctional situation, no, it doesn't matter.
What is it?
Either you have a youngster who at 13 or 14 was raped, or you have a youngster who is out sleeping with somebody at the age of 13 or 14, which is inappropriate sexual behavior for that age. That says something about not getting their needs met at home. It says something about their developmental background. It says something about the inappropriateness of that type of behavior at that age. It also the fact that she was not comfortable telling her family until she couldn't not tell her family.
What does that say?
It says that she did not have a relationship with her mom and dad, with her grandparents, that while it may have been very beneficial to her in many, many ways, that it was not one that spoke of security and trust and feeling that your caretakers will help you. They may be very angry at you at the moment, but that ultimately they will stand behind you and will help you, and that you can go to them when you're in difficulty regardless of how you got into that difficulty. It does not bespeak that.
Is she good at manipulating?
Yes.
In what sense?
Is she good at manipulating? Let me rethink that answer. I answered too quickly. Does she manipulate a lot? Yes. Is she good at manipulating? In my clinical opinion, she's not all that good at it. And I guess that's, when you asked me, is she good at manipulating, my thought was, does she do it a lot?
Tell me about manipulating a lot first.
Ms. Wuornos doesn't have many. I don't think she has any. Healthy, adaptive, interpersonal skills for getting your needs met. When we don't have that, we rely on what do we know? Well, every child knows how to manipulate. That's one of the things that we learn when we're very, very young, and it's the way we first start getting our needs met. Now, hopefully, we grow and we learn other ways, more mature ways of getting our needs met, although we all manipulate to some extent all the time. I mean, we all do that and we accept it. If I say good morning to somebody, I expect, and one of the reasons I'm saying that is so that somebody will say good morning back to me. That's a socially acceptable manipulation. We all agree to those manipulations. Okay, so we all do that at some level, but hopefully we basically try and get our psychological needs met in more mature ways. Ms. Wuornos does not have those more mature, adaptive, healthy ways of getting her needs met, and so she does it by manipulation. But frankly, she's not real good at it. And I'm saying that because it's obvious that she's manipulating. And when people are good at it, if you know that you've been manipulated, it's only later. And then we're usually kind of pretty angry at the fact when we suddenly realize I've been manipulated. Sometimes we can be manipulated and never know it. That's when somebody's really good. But with Ms. Wuornos, it's pretty obvious that that's what she's doing. It's kind of like when a child tries to manipulate, and a child, we usually think it's kind of cute, but after a while we think it's not so cute as they get to be older and they haven't learned better ways of doing things. We generally don't think it's so cute, and we don't think it's cute at all in an adult, generally.
The neuropsychological and psychological testing that you provided to Ms. Wuornos, does that have mechanisms by which malingering or faking can be checked?
Yes.
Did you employ those mechanisms in this case?
Yes.
Was the testing valid?
Yes.
Any impression that Ms. Wuornos was not trying her best on the testing?
No. No. She was trying her best. And everything that has any kind of validity measures, they're all valid. And let me, the same is true of her school records. They make the same statement that she tried very hard on the tasks. She tried certainly on mine. Everything that I understand is she's tried hard on all of them.
Thank you, Doctor. We might need that, Your Honor, but if the witness can return to her office temporarily.
Give this lady a break. All right, here we go. Finally, good Lord. That was ridiculous. Never gonna escape this fucking shit. All right. Oh my God, 2 more hours. This time with forensic psychologist Dr. Harry Kropp. Oh, they're making us go through it here at the end. Let's start them out.
And if you could just state your full name for the record.
My name is Harry Kropp.
And what is your current occupation, sir?
I am a clinical psychologist licensed in the state of Florida.
Kropp?
Can you tell us a little bit about your educational background?
We stipulate to credentials, and Dr. Kropp is a clinical psychologist, competent to testify in this court, and has been deemed an expert in other courts.
Your Honor, we would also... Doctor, yes, Judge. Doctor, just tell us a little bit about your experience in the area of forensic psychology.
I've been doing forensic psychology probably since 1977. I've been the director of my private practice since 1973 or 74. But I've been doing forensic work that is psychological principles to psycholegal issues in both criminal and civil cases since about 1977. The areas of specialty within forensic psychology would be in the evaluation of first-degree murder defendants, and also in the area of sexual abuse.
Tell us a little bit about your work in the area of sexual abuse and psychosexual issues involved in the mental health field.
I started the first sexual abuse treatment program for the treatment and therapy of sexual abuse victims. That was the first program of its kind in the state of Florida. We started that in 1977 through a grant from HRS and began formally the treatment of both the offender as well as the children and also the parents of the children who had been molested. Since that time, we have continued to work in that area and have probably evaluated over 500 children who have been sexually abused.
Please, Court, we've stipulated to the expert's qualifications and object to any further random dissertation of experience and credentials.
Judge, this is not by way of voir dire, but just by way of tying the doctor into his testimony. Doctor, you've heard the state stipulate to your qualifications as an expert. You have testified in the courts of the state of Florida.
Many times, yes.
And you have testified before his honor.
Yes, I have.
And you've been retained by both the state and the defense in criminal cases.
Yes, I have.
The questions that I'm going to ask you now deal with specific issues relating to this case. And you were talking about your experience in the psychosexual area. Just tie that together for us.
Well, as I was saying,
your own background.
As I was saying, I have been involved in the treatment of both sexual offenders as well as sexual victims of abuse for approximately 14 years. We have evaluated and treated over 500 children and have evaluated and treated over 4,000 sex offenders.
And in the area of homicides that you were discussing, what experience do you have in that area?
I have evaluated, according to my latest statistics, 435. This would be the 436th
Persephone, good morning.
Case that I have been involved in evaluating.
Of those, how many times has the defense called you to testify?
I've testified for the defense of those 400 plus cases on about 40 to 45 times.
Do you know why the defense did not call you in the other 395 cases?
Well,
if you know.
Certainly one reason would be if the case were resolved without it requiring psychological testimony. The other reason would be that if my evaluation is not particularly helpful to to the defense, since almost all of the times when I would be requested to do an evaluation by the defense, it would be on a confidential basis. So after the defense attorney reads my report or knows what I have to say, if the attorney does not feel that I would be helpful in a case, I would not be called to testify.
You have also been retained by the state in homicide and in criminal cases, have you not?
Yes, I have.
And you've discussed at length some of your experience in the forensic field. Do you also have regular patients, people with non-criminal justice system related issues that you see?
I have a clinical practice, but I would say over the last few years, because of the number of evaluations I have been asked to do, I've limited my clinical practice to about 10% of my practice. I have other therapists who work with me in my practice who do primarily therapy.
Are you familiar with neuropsychology?
Yes.
And what is neuropsychology?
Neuropsychology is a specific field within psychology which deals primarily with brain behavior relationships. That is, primarily through the use of specific and specialized psychological tests, we are able to assess a person's functioning or dysfunctioning and then relate that to various areas of the brain, whether the person is functioning normally or abnormally.
And in your experience, have you assessed issues of cerebral dysfunction, cortical dysfunction, brain damage in cases that you've conducted evaluations in?
I came to Gainesville originally in 1971 for the express purpose of doing a postdoctoral internship in neuropsychology. And since that time, I have conducted several hundred neuropsychological evaluations, both at the VA Medical Center, where I was employed, and also in private practice, sometimes for court purposes and other times in terms of diagnostic purposes.
In terms, withdraw, Your Honor. When you approach a case, and we'll talk about Ms. Wuornos in a moment, when you approach a case such as Ms. Wuornos', what mindset do you bring to your evaluation?
Well, certainly part of it depends on the particular questions or opinions that I'm being asked to address. Generally, in a criminal case, there are two basic questions, and that is the person competent to proceed, that is, to assist his or her attorney? And then the other major question is, what was her mental status like at the time of the offense in terms of whether she was insane or not? In first-degree murder cases, there is an additional issue, and that is, if she were not insane, were there any other factors, mitigating factors, which may explain or have influenced that person's acts at the time of the offense? And when I evaluated Ms. Wuornos, of course, those were the three major issues that I addressed in the beginning of the evaluation.
My name is Ray. I'm a live streamer.
Conducting that evaluation, do you bring such an evaluation, do you bring a perspective that there's a certain opinion you want to see if you can form, or how's that done?
Well, I certainly try as best I can to maintain as much objectivity as possible in terms of looking at the evaluation. Obviously, in doing an evaluation, one of the things that a psychologist is going to look at is to try and explain the person's behavior. That explanation can come from various sources. It can come from background. It could come from the testing and so forth. But I certainly try not to have an opinion preconceived prior to doing any evaluation.
Did you know Lee Wuornos, person
Yes.
seated to my right. Your Honor, we would formally tender Dr. Kropp as an expert at this juncture. I think Your Honor heard the stipulation previously.
You may inquire, Mr. Tanner, there.
Your Honor, we stipulated a while ago.
You may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. You know Lee Wuornos, the person seated to my right, do you not?
Yes, I do.
And you've had an opportunity to evaluate him.
Correct.
In conjunction with that evaluation, have you had the opportunity to review records, police reports, investigative reports, depositions, other psychological mental health reports, transcripts, all sorts of information about it?
All of the above, yes.
Big bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, look at it. It's fucking... What is that? Where's it going? You never hear him rip anything, and it should be, with as long as this has already been, should be halfway across the floor. So what is happening there? It's like a little black box. God, it almost looks... And look how, like... It looks so confusing. Like, here's the stand. Here's the legs. And here's the device. I guess... I don't know what's protruding here. What the fuck is this? I mean, look at her hands, dude. They're as wide as the thing, and she's just going.
Did you also have
Look at that. What the fuck?
the opportunity to review testing?
Oh, no, it is. It's catching it. Did you see that? There's like that thing in the front is catching, and it was pretty deep. It's catching all of the receipt paper coming out. So she's writing on the... Why is she writing on paper this wide?
Yes, in this case, when I evaluated the defendant, she had already completed a battery of psychological tests by 2 other mental health professionals who have evaluated her. So it was not necessary for me to do any psychological testing on Ms. Wuornos, and I relied upon the test data that was supplied to me by both of the other psychologists.
And you reviewed that test data?
Yes, I did.
Did you review test data and or notes from...
What is this 35-year-old technology that's probably even older than that? This trial's from, what, 92?
Let me go through with you the 4 other experts, the 4 other mental health practitioners who have seen Ms. Wuornos, and tell me if you've had an opportunity to review notes and or test data and or confer with each other. Dr. McMahon?
Yes.
Dr. Bordini?
Yes.
Dr. Toomer?
She's not writing out the whole
Dr.
words.
Bernard?
Yes.
For like abbreviations of every
In your
word?
evaluation, were you able to formulate an opinion regarding Ms. Wuornos?
Crystal coming through, dropping knowledge.
Yes.
What's up, Crystal?
Can you tell us what the diagnosis is?
Based on my evaluation, the primary diagnosis for
never seen
Ms.
one that
Wuornos
tiny.
would be a borderline personality disorder.
And what is a borderline personality?
Borderline personality disorder.
Well, let me preface that, if I may, by just saying that obviously we all have personalities and everyone is unique. The personality is formed both in terms of genetic factors as well as environmental factors and various other educational things that occur throughout our lifetime. Generally, when a person starts into adulthood, that personality is relatively fixed. In some cases, however, that set of traits or behaviors that we call personality becomes maladaptive. That is, it creates in a person various dysfunctioning and various patterns of maladaptive behavior. When it becomes to that extreme or to that degree, we call it a personality disorder, and it becomes a clinical diagnosis as listed in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the 3rd and Revised Vision. Yes. So in order for a person to have a personality disorder as opposed to just personality traits, the person has to meet specific behavioral criteria as listed in that DSM-3R, which is used by almost all mental health professionals to render a diagnosis. In her case, and as I...
Let me just ask you a couple of questions. A personality disorder, as listed in the DSM-3R, is that a disturbance?
Yes.
Is that something that is common in the population?
A personality disorder?
Right.
It's common, of course, in clinical populations. Hopefully it's not as common in the overall population.
And what is a clinical population?
Clinical population are those individuals who exhibit some type of impairment in their functioning. They just basically behave differently than what we would consider the normal person.
So it's common. It would be common among individuals who are disturbed or impaired.
Sure.
I cut you off. Please go on. What
That sounds insane. That sounds like alien technology.
Disorder? How does it interplay with
How does someone figure that out?
She's been?
Well, as I said, for someone to be diagnosed as a personality disorder in general, these behaviors or traits that are characteristic of the person has to cause significant impairment in functioning for it to be diagnosed as a personality disorder. then depending on what those behaviors are, depending on what those traits are, you check it out basically with the DSM-3R and determine the nature of the personality disorder. There are numerous personality disorders, but one has to meet certain criteria to be labeled a particular diagnosis.
All right. This is getting crazy now. Is this all real?
Does she have significant impairments in functioning?
Yes.
Okay. And in her
Yeah, now they're just like, blah, 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 blah. Are they just like, are they not even talking full, or are they just like making noises, a language that they created into the device? You just hear,
in her case, she clearly fits borderline personality disorder category. Let me add that up until the most recent DSM-3, the revised, the last two, the DSM-3 and the revised version, the borderline personality disorder was not even listed as a category. There were several traits that a borderline has that were mixed in the other categories, but enough research was done to demonstrate that there are individuals who share very, very common characteristics and traits sufficiently from the research done to be a separate category in and of itself. There are numerous books that are written now on the borderline personality disorder, partly because they are very complex individuals and individuals that are very difficult to deal with therapeutically as well as interpersonally.
Before the current DSM-3R, such individuals would be listed as having other personality disorders, some of them, right?
Yes.
Some of them might have been listed as schizophrenic, right?
That's correct.
Some of them may have been listed as paranoid.
That's correct.
Some of them may have been listed as suffering from a major mental illness instead of the borderline personality disorder.
That is correct.
And it is with the common current DSM-3R that we know we can hone down more particularly what the disorder is.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, go on.
The definition of the borderline personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of instability of mood, interpersonal relationships, and self-image. That's the general definition of a personality disorder. Then there are 8 criteria, among which in the DSM-3R the person has to have 5 of those criteria to actually be diagnosed as borderline. And in Lee's case,
yeah, I think this is what she has right here. It's this black one. Yeah, the paper's coming out of it. Stenotype machines are called stenography typewriters. Stenographs or stenography machines are essentially portable word processors. They feature a modified 22-key button keyboard made of hard acrylic material with no markings. Court reporters use these machines to record the spoken word of stenographic shorthand. This is much faster than typing out entire words, making it possible to transcribe speech at a rate of 200 words per minute. What does the word stenography mean? Stenography comes from the Greek. I love stuff like that. Where did this come from? From the Greek steno, meaning narrow, and graphy, meaning writing. Narrow writing describes a system of shorthand that was once used when conversations had to be transcribed by hand. Stenotype machines are a modern, mechanized version of shorthand. How do these machines work? Typing in shorthand is more complicated than using a regular keyboard. Stenotype machines convey spoken syllables rather than letters. This means that the 3-syllable word calendar only requires 3 strokes instead of the 8 needed to spell out the word entirely. Working a stenotype machine often involves pressing more than one key simultaneously, known as chording or stroking. This allows court reporters to type complex and varied words as quickly as possible. Thanks to this concept, it's possible to spell out entire words in a single hand motion for incredibly fast transcription times. The untrained eye stenography transcripts look completely garbled. They need you need to know my language, my secret language. The seemingly random string of letters spaced at what appear to be arbitrary intervals can be confusing. There are even multiple schools of thought of how to record various sounds, meaning one court reporter may find it difficult to read another's notes. Oh my God. However, this is a superpower. It's a special kind of superpower because they all have it it's tweaked slightly for everyone. However, the reporter who produced the transcription in question knows exactly what it says. Early machines, 1877. Until early 2000, steno machines printed a court reporter shorthand onto a roll of paper. So we're still pre-2000 here. The court reporter then translated the shorthand into English at a later time. We need her here. What if she died on a car wreck? We'll never know. We've lost all of this. Modern steno machines, modern technology makes it possible to translate from stenographic shorthand to English instantaneously. We live in the future, baby. AI making it happen. This occurs digitally and appears in the stenotype machines built in LCD screens or a connected laptop. While not always mistaken-free, technology broke the secret world, the secret society. I bet they hate it. I bet the old schools are like, you know what? You shouldn't know my language instantaneously. You should have to study it. While not always mistaken-free, this makes it possible to display real-time closed captions. That's so fucking interesting, too.
It is interesting to note that, according to my data, she would have all 8 criteria out of the
original
8.
Shorthand machine.
The books that have been written on personality disorders essentially would refer to her as absolutely classic in the sense that she meets all of these different criteria. Her life is...
Oh my God, like this one? Look at this one. That one looks crazy. This one looks insane. What's going on here? Antique. This is the first one. The first form, 1882. St. Louis, Missouri. Serial number 72. Holy shit. What kind of fucking witch created this shit? Wow. And yeah, here's the codes. What the fuck? That's insane. Here's one connected to a computer. Man. That's pretty interesting. Look, yeah, here's a keyboard, whatever, man. Here, look at this one. This one's pretty sweet. I like this one, actually. Oh my God. Damn, what a secret world we didn't know about. We're learning about here this morning on Murder Church.
Basically characterized by all of the cases that are written about in terms of personality, borderline personalities. I think to simplify...
what if they I don't know. What if they didn't like the guy and they're like, actually I was saying this there, and they've changed their mind for some reason?
I can just explain it in a simpler form. The borderline personality has to meet 5 of the following 8 criteria. One is a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships. The second one is impulsiveness. The third one is unstable moods. In other words, just tremendous mood shifts from one period of time to another, sometimes in a very brief period of time. The fourth criteria is an inappropriate, intense anger or lack of control of anger, frequent displays of temper and anger. The fifth criteria is recurrent suicidal threats or gestures, sometimes self-mutilating behavior. The sixth criteria is marked and persistent identity disturbance, manifested by either problems with self-image, sexual orientation. The seventh is chronic feelings of emptiness or boredom. And then the eighth is frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. So in my review of Lee's life and background, she would fit all 8 of those criteria.
Burner!
The personality disorder, the borderline.
Dude, imagine technology could have been, so much further in the 1600s and there were so many smart women that never got to show their brain power because they were just, that's how women were treated back then. And then you had one that was going to go out on a limb and say, I was thinking, and the guy's like, he's already pissed. He's like, what the? She's like, I could invent this machine. He's like, yeah, you're going to go into, I got a witch over here. We're going to burn one tonight. Oh my God. We live inside of a dream and nothing is real. Why are we here now? Why are we so lucky? Oh my God, I've got to stop my brain.
Basically has two major themes typically in their life.
This is me all day, every day. That's my brain all day, every day.
In terms of victimization in their background, and the other is feelings of abandonment. And as the DSM-3 says, it's either perceived or real. In Lee's case, based on the history that I have, she was legitimately victimized when she was younger, and she was also legitimately abandoned. So these are not just perceived, although it really wouldn't matter whether it occurred or not for the fit the criteria. I think the easiest way to describe a borderline is by talking about a vicious cycle or a number of paradoxes or contradictions in a person's life. Because the person perceives herself to be abandoned or rejected, she is always suspicious. She is always looking out that something like that is going to happen. But yet, on the other hand, she develops these very dependent relationships, very intense relationships with other people, yet they're never very meaningful and they're never very healthy, because in the back of her mind, she's always looking out as far as when the next rejection is going to come. The other thing that's most significant is the basic primitive, childlike coping mechanisms that this individual uses. Basically, we see a lot of complaining. We see a lot of temper tantrums. We see manipulation, but generally very naive manipulation, something that's very obvious to the outside person. We see these changes in mood states in terms of sometimes just attention-getting type of behaviors. And then sometimes to the extreme, we see self-mutilation. Most of the time, the self-mutilation or self-destructive is attention-getting, attention-seeking. It's trying to show the world how desperate the person is, but most of the time they really don't want to die, although certainly sometimes it gets to that point. In Lee's life, in terms of the criteria of a borderline, this is so classic in terms of, on the one hand, developing these extremely intense relationships with people, constantly looking to get attention, constantly seeking affection. At the same time, her behavior totally pushes people away from her because, again, of the perception that somebody's going to do harm to her, that somebody's going to reject her at some time. And in her case, it was primarily due to a lot of background issues that Lee went through when she was a child.
Does somebody in childhood or in adolescence choose to have such a disorder?
I don't think any of us choose to have certain personalities. We're essentially, to some degree, born with certain traits. That's why we often see certain traits in our parents that we have. Sometimes there's a tendency to rebel against those traits, but we don't choose until a latter point in time. We choose behaviors, and we certainly have to be responsible for our actions, but essentially we don't choose the kind of personality we have.
How about a disturbed personality? Does someone choose that at some point?
Again, the person tends to choose a certain set of behaviors as the person gets older, but the personality itself influences those kinds of behaviors that we choose to do. So a disturbed behavior, now certain personality disorders serve the person in certain ways. For example, a very dependent personality disorder. The person doesn't want to change that, at least part of that person doesn't want to change because he's being taken care of and he may feel that that's important. But generally speaking, in my clinical practice and all the literature I've reviewed on borderline personality disorder, part of them know how dysfunctional they are. They essentially beg sometimes to be different, yet at the same time, their behavior is so dysfunctional and they push people, even their therapists, away from them. And it becomes very frustrating to deal with the borderline. So it's this vicious cycle, this, on the one hand, yes, I want help, on the other hand, pushing people away from her.
You indicated that there's a genetic component.
There may be. We don't have the answers in terms of totally how much heredity and how much environment plays in the part of various personality disorders. Obviously, if a child grows up in a dysfunctional family and becomes dysfunctional him or herself, we can suggest that it's possible because she was born with some of the same traits as those dysfunctional parents. At the same time, she grew up with those dysfunctional parents, so some of it certainly, or most of it, can be environmental. And we know there's an interaction, but we just don't know the degree.
Was Lee's childhood background consistent with folks?
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. Was Ms. Wuornos' childhood background consistent with folks who suffer from a borderline personality disorder?
Absolutely.
In what sense?
Well, from the materials
Hey, Jessica,
I reviewed,
morning.
and partly, of course, from her own report.
We learned about stenography machines, and I had my mind blown into a million pieces.
Lee's biological mother was described and has admitted in terms of her interviews with investigators that she was a promiscuous person. She basically was extremely young. She was 16, I believe, when she conceived Lee. She was at the end of her relationship. The relationship with her husband was breaking up, and she abandoned Lee. She also reported that she had been sexually abused and had grown up with a father.
I don't know, but I think the first person asking questions was the defense. I think. So I'm not sure if this is, a guy that's really for Aileen or what.
Who turns out actually that's Lee's grandfather, but who...
As I was saying, I just know the first person asking questions, I think, was the dude, the curly-haired dude from her team.
Actually raised her, but that grandfather was an abusive individual, both physically and sexually, to the
sentencing phase, the final
Lee's mother.
phase.
Lee's father, whom she never knew, basically was described as a very violent individual with sexually deviant characteristics, and in fact he was convicted of rape and kidnapping and was sent to a mental institution and then eventually sent to prison, where he committed suicide in 1965 by hanging himself. Lee's mother did not feel that she was capable of raising Lee, so before Lee was even 1 year old, Lee's mother essentially left her in the care of her grandparents, so Lee had no contact
That was a good meme.
with her biological
Classic.
parents after that time. Lee's, and I will refer to them as mother and father, who are actually her grandmother and grandfather, were also dysfunctional people. The father
I've kind of checked
was
out, ain't gonna lie
described
to you.
I didn't mention this earlier, but I had an opportunity to interview Lee's cousin.
But you gotta finish her up.
And Mr. Latella, who describes Lee's grandfather, as being a Jekyll and Hyde type individual. He was a severe alcoholic. He was an extremely dominant personality. He was extremely critical of Lee as well as other children. And when he was drinking, which was most of the time, he could be violent. So we have her father / grandfather being a violent individual who physically abused Lee and who was an alcoholic. He was very dominant in that Lee's mother / grandmother was an extremely passive individual who also drank intermittently. I don't know if she'd be considered an alcoholic, but she drank early on in her life and then toward her death. And she basically was ineffective in raising Lee or intervening in the physical abuse. The school records, which I reviewed, indicate that Lee was probably born with a hearing disorder, a hearing impairment. It's constantly through the school records that she was having difficulty and that she suffered from a hearing impairment. The mother / grandmother was constantly requested to authorize an evaluation of her, and the records constantly suggest that the adoptive mother essentially ignored all of the school personnel's requests to have Lee even evaluated for hearing impairment, even though it was fairly obvious. The mother did not go to the school, she did not attend meetings and so forth, and as I said, was viewed as a very ineffective and passive individual who did not intervene when Lee was being either mentally or physically abused. The mother died, the grandmother died, when Lee was about 15 years old, and about 4 or 5 years later, the grandfather also committed suicide by, I believe, carbon monoxide. So both of the male father figures in Lee's life committed suicide, and both of the mothers were essentially neglectful and ineffective mother.
Not yet. We are gonna do a voting one for the next one. I'm gonna get a bunch. I'm gonna take some. We're gonna talk about it before we go all the way in, and we're gonna figure it out. So I don't know exactly. It'll be a power of the people.
The person that Lee was closest to was her brother Keith, who I believe was 1 or 2 years
I'll pick a few.
older than she.
You guys pick a few.
And he died
something like that
when he was 21 years old of cancer right after he came back from the military. So the one
Somebody
person that she really was close to,
what a cough,
also died.
Excuse me just a moment. Judge, may we approach the stand?
Thank you. Just to summarize what I was saying, the two significant father figures in her life killed themselves and were deviant individuals. The two mother figures were ineffective, and she was abandoned by her biological mother, and then her brother, whom she was close to, died of cancer when he was 21 years old. The other significant aspect of Lee's childhood or adolescence was basically sexual abuse victimization. She reports to me, and there are reports that I've reviewed in terms of other people that, of course, she has reported to, that she was sexually abused on numerous occasions when she was a child. The first occasion that she makes reference to is when she was about 13 or 14, in which she was sexually abused by a man who was the father's friend, a man who was in his 40s who gave her a ride and sexually abused her, and Lee became pregnant as a result of that sexual abuse. She hid her pregnancy for 6 months. Due to the kind of relationship she had within her family, she felt the need that she could not talk to her father or mother or other relatives about it. Finally, after 6 months, she had to disclose her pregnancy, at which time she was immediately sent to a home for unwed mothers, spent about 3 months there, had the baby, and had to give the baby up for adoption. It was at this point in time
here for the first time I've
that she
seen.
began running away and ended up coming back for her mother's funeral, but then was sent to a juvenile home for runaways when she was about 15 years old.
Let me just stop you there before we pick up again. Did Ms. Wuornos really think she could conceal her pregnancy?
I'm sure she probably did feel that way. I guess she felt that she had no choice really in the matter, in terms of no one really to talk to, no one really to support her. She also did not want to reveal at that point in time that she was sexually active. So there were many reasons why Ms. Wuornos felt the need to hide her sexual abuse victimization and the resulting pregnancy.
How old was the other man?
She describes him as being in his 40s. I don't think she's totally sure of that.
And was the pregnancy discovered eventually?
Yes, when she was about 6 months pregnant.
What happened then?
That's when she was sent to a home for unwed mothers and had to give up the baby for adoption.
Did you talk to Ms. Wuornos about how the grandparents perceived her when it was discovered?
They essentially perceived it as her fault. They perceived it as her going places where she shouldn't be. They perceived it as her not listening to them. She describes her parents as being very sexually repressive. They did not talk about sex. They did not think that sex is something that should be discussed among family members, despite the fact that Lee's biological mother describes her adoptive father as being sexually abusive to her as well as to a child who stayed over at her mother's house on one occasion. So the grandfather was really giving mixed messages to Lee with regard to sexuality.
This is Lee's biological mother?
Yes.
What did she describe?
Lee's biological mother, Diane Tully, described her father, who was Lee's adoptive father, having sexually abused her, and also the way she put it, put the make on one of her girlfriends when she was spending the night. He came into the bedroom. She does not know whether anything happened to that girlfriend.
Was Ms. Wuornos, Lee Wuornos, willing to acknowledge sexual abuse on the part of the grandfather?
No.
Keep going.
She did acknowledge on at least 4 different occasions from the time she was 13 to 17 additional sexual abuse or sexual assault on her. Once when she was 16 and a half, she indicated that she was gang raped. Once when she was 17 and a half, she was tied up and raped. And these are by men who are slightly older than her on most occasions.
This is after she's left at home.
This is after she left at home. She basically was not under any supervision. She was sleeping in abandoned cars, and she got involved with these at least 3 or 4 other incidents. One in which she indicated an attempted rape in which she said she was physically assaulted, but she was able to get away from this individual before he raped her. The other aspect of her childhood was that she also was involved in an incestuous relationship on one occasion with her brother, who was the one that she was close to. And they were fairly similar of age. I believe he was 1 or 2 years older. So as you can see, from the time she was about 13 on, before she reached adulthood, she had a tremendous number of sexual experiences, beginning with sexual abuse and also intermittently having been sexually assaulted and victimized. It is not unusual for an individual who has been sexually abused to become a victim. Nowadays, fortunately, we have treatment programs. We have public awareness programs.
Objection, Your Honor. There's not a question on the floor.
I'm sorry, if you could rephrase it, not in the context of current assistance provided to folks who have an abused background, but just in the context of Ms. Wuornos' case.
Excuse me, Your Honor, please, and I've lost the question then. Could you just ask the question again?
Yes, Judge. What are the effects of this type of background on someone in their adolescence?
Typically, when a child is sexually abused, that person becomes more vulnerable to further sexual abuse or begins exhibiting various types of emotional indicators of that victimization. Lee never received any treatment for sexual abuse, so she also did not receive the support from her environment, from her parents. And although the symptoms are often mixed with individuals who have been sexually abused, 2 of the most common sexual abuse manifestations are either hyposexuality, that is an individual who views sex in an aversive way and tends to withdraw from sexual experiences, or hypersexuality, a person who can become promiscuous and who essentially becomes involved sexually as her means of gaining attention and gratification, emotional gratification from another individual, which apparently is the route that Ms. Wuornos took.
After she left home, after the age of 15, how did she survive? You indicated she was sleeping in abandoned cars, but how was she surviving? What was she doing for a living?
She essentially survived on a day-to-day basis, sometimes in abandoned cars. Sometimes she would go and ask relatives to take her in. Sometimes she would go to friends and try and get them to take her in. She began, as she was getting older, again, someone, and I don't recall exactly how old she was, I believe when she was about 17, offered her money for the first time for a sexual experience. And at that point in time, she had eventually developed the tendency to start getting money through sexual favors. And of course, there was she went through a period of intermittent prostitution after that period of time, and then essentially became a full-time prostitute somewhere in 1984, I believe.
All right, we're going to pause it right there. 35 minutes into this guy. We still got about an hour and a half left of this one. And then we still got a few more. Nope. I mean, I'm not sure if we'll finish it again next week. We may go into some more very long videos. We'll see. We're going to play on through. Again, this is in the penalty phase, so this is the very end of it. And again, we already know what's going to happen. Probably not necessary, but, you know, I like the completion of it, and we'll check it out. We'll see what's going on. I have checked out a little bit, but I come and go on it. But I appreciate everyone for coming through here and enjoying it and keeping the conversation going. The Murder Church chat. Thanks everyone for coming through. The next time you'll see me here on Publicly Buzzed will be Tuesday night at 8 before we go into book club, of course, right after. We have 2 shows on Tuesday per the usual. I'll be live tonight, and this stream is going to take you right into tonight's stream. We're starting a brand new territory in a year on Wrestle Plunge tonight. So come through, check out, support. If you don't come through, maybe hit a like anyways once you get transported over there, teleported over there. I'd appreciate it. Everybody came through today with some donations. Thank you all so much. I appreciate the hell out of it. You guys, seriously, I love it. Everything. Rocking and rolling. Hopefully I can get out of this freaking snow that I'm currently buried in. Again, 3 weekends in a row I've been trapped. 3 Saturdays in a row. I would love to go and do something cool on a Saturday. I miss it. I have plans for the 21st. I need to get to the garage for an oil change. I need to get my tires checked before I take my car on this 3-hour, really it's a 6-hour trip both ways, but 3 hours to get there. Going to this deathmatch wrestling show. I'm going to a crazy show in Tennessee, and I'm real excited about it. I haven't been to a deathmatch show since 2021. We'll see if I can get there. But everybody come through tonight. Check out some Wrestle Plunge. We're going to be, again, going into a brand new year in a brand new part of the country tonight on Wrestle Plunge. But thanks, everyone. I appreciate it. Almost done with Aileen Wuornos. And again, for the next Murder Church trial, we're going to collect a bunch. I'm gonna initiate a bunch. I want you guys to bring a bunch in the chat. We're going to do a big tournament on maybe a Feral Friday, something like that. And then we'll see what we do for the next season. I think we're going to be going into season 7. If I'm not mistaken. So, we're getting there. We're getting there, Lee. I'm working on it. Everybody stay warm. I'm actually freezing right now. I'm in shorts. Like I said, I need to wash some fucking sweatpants. It's getting bad here. It's getting bad. We're in the struggle zone. All right, love you guys. I'll see you tonight. Let's go. Hit the like on the stream. You're going too.